Hi, I'm Shabalka Vig, a Youth Council member for the Asian Culture and Education Society USA. I'm today's session chair, and our special guest is Dr. Sushil Kumar. Dr. Sushil Kumar is an associate professor at Lehigh University in the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering. His primary area of research is in semiconductor optoelectronics and quantum electronics. Specifically, he pursues research in far infrared and mid-infrared photonics with quantum cascade lasers and detectors and nanostructured inter-subband semiconductor devices. Dr. Kumar's work is at the forefront of terahertz semiconductor laser technology and has posted world record results for high temperature and high power operation of such lasers. He's an Indian American and did his undergraduate schooling at the renowned Delhi College of Engineering and did his master's at the University of Michigan and his PhD at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. First of all, thank you so much for joining us today. My first question for you is, can you tell us a little bit about your journey to get to where you are today, and how did you know you wanted to work in this field, and how did you get where you are?
Okay, well, well, first of all, thank you for inviting me, and it's really nice to talk to you. I'm glad you're doing this, and yeah, happy to share about my journey. Um, yeah, I came to US in 1999, um, 1 year after I finished my undergraduate studies at the Delhi College of Engineering. At that time, I wasn't too sure of pursuing higher studies, and I had accepted a job in USA in a company called Epic Systems Corporation. It's a healthcare software services and software provider in Madison, Wisconsin. And at that time, I wasn't sure. So I had just accepted a job. My goal was to just join industry and progress. And um, once I got here, I found there were a lot of opportunities. There were excellent universities, and I was in Madison, which is actually a very nice university town in itself. There's this University of Wisconsin Madison, which is very highly ranked and world renowned. And being in a university town, I was just naturally attracted. And there was always this side in me to pursue higher studies, and seeing those opportunities right in front of me, I decided to pursue graduate education. So that's how I started. So it's been everybody who pursues graduate education, I think, has a unique story, and so is mine. So um, I had a background in electronics and communication, and I started off in my master's degree at Michigan, in Ann Arbor, Michigan, in a different area of electrical engineering. Electrical engineering is one of the wider disciplines in engineering. And so that area is called micro electromechanical systems, which is very different from what I'm doing now. And so it so happened after my master's, I again accepted a job to work in a company in California, but I had also just applied to a couple of graduate schools to further pursue education and a doctorate, and I got in to MIT, which I thought was a very good opportunity once again to further my studies, and I kind of switched my fields into optoelectronics, and that's how I came into this area. So yeah, I mean, that's how I pursued my doctorate, and it was a long journey. And one of the things that you do, or one of the possibilities after you finish and your doctoral studies, is to join academia as a professor for both research and teaching, and that's the option I chose. A lot of people choose to go back to industry, do research, or do something else completely. So yes, that's my story in a nutshell.
That's amazing. So why did you make the decision to switch into optoelectronics?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I think it's something that happens to almost everybody when they uh, keep when they decide to pursue further education after their initial degree. They thought about their initial plans are sometimes different, and when they undergo and go through all the years of their studies and they meet people and find out about different areas, they often change their mindset about what they want to do. That was the same with me. Once I had finished my master's degree, I was already um, a master's education is already quite uh, deep in a subject. So I was quite confident in my ability to maybe possibly contribute in industry in electrical engineering. But then there was always this part of electrical engineering which was intriguing to me and which I did not know much about. So it's just basically my curiosity. And somebody gave me an opportunity in their research group to pursue that research without me having that background, which was very interesting to me because somebody to put a faith in you and to say that you can do it, and at an institution like MIT, which is a top ranked institution in the world. So that was a big pull for me to go into that area. And also at that time, photonics was already coming up. It wasn't quite the telecom revolution, which happened in early 2000, but I could see that happening. And nowadays, obviously, photonics is one of the primary drivers of how we communicate today. So as I speak to you and remotely, all the information is carried through light in optical fibers. So it's the driver of all the communication that's happening today. So I think I definitely made the right choice, at least in that sense.
All right. So you are an immigrant from India. So what advice do you have for maintaining that cultural connect, and how do you maintain that cultural connect?
Um, some it's again different for different people, and obviously a lot of our family is back in India, so we visit India often. We encourage our children to learn about Indian culture and our Indian languages, to try to learn the Indian language that my mother tongue. And obviously we try to visit India, and when we visit India we try to visit different places. So we're aware that children are aware. So it's primarily through the lens of our children as they grow up. Hopefully they will learn more and more about India and then communicate to their friends and teachers, and we see that happening already. When they come back every year, they talk about their trip to their teachers, also to their student, to friends, and they all come to know. And it's the small things we do in their school. Sometimes we celebrate Indian holidays, and their school knows. And for example, recently we had a Diwali, which is one of the biggest festivals in India. We celebrated that in my daughter's school, and we treated basically all the teachers as a lunch as part of a celebration. So they were all, even if somebody did not know about Diwali, they came to know, and that's how we share about uh, Indian culture among ourselves. And there are other things. Um, we take part in our at workplace. We try to take part in some cultural events because there's an Indian student organization that sometimes organizes some events, and we try to be part of that.
So why do you think maintaining a cultural connection to India is so important? And what advice do you have for the younger generations about this?
Well, I'm not sure if it's specific to India, but in general, yeah, wherever you come from, it's always a good idea. It's just the same argument that goes for um, having diversity in workplace or in communities, and to have a diverse background of people who come together and they bring different opinions and different um, they have their different ways in which uh, they grew up, and they could bring different ideas when they're trying to tackle a problem or when they're trying to work on some project. So it's just the diversity that helps a lot, and I think having that different cultural background definitely helps. It also helps in uh, in social aspect. So you sometimes make friendships, and you it gives it's a way for you to engage in the communities and widen your social circle. So it's a positive in all aspects, and be it your social aspects or at your workplace. And I think it's just a nice thing. And in 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 general, it helps you connect to people you might not be able to connect to, because if you know about other cultures, you can often relate to people from that geography, and so that way you can relate to them better, because nowadays in workplace you find people from all over the world. So if you know about different areas, different countries, you can relate to them, you can work with them better in teams, because it's the teamwork is very important. So it's nice to be able to know about different cultures and how people think in different cultures.
That was a great insight on that. So, going back to a little bit of what we were talking about earlier, how do you think your decision to pursue higher education changed your life?
um, I think it's the what I'm doing right now is because of the decisions I made, and my education. Um, First of all, in a very concrete, in the simplistic terms, you cannot be a faculty member at almost anywhere in the world unless you pursue higher education, and at most places a doctoral degree is required, because just the way it is. Not only are you required to teach advanced subjects, so you need to have a mastery over those subjects, but also most academic positions require you to do research, and when you are doing research, they want you to have sufficient depth in a subject, and years of expertise as a researcher as a student before you start doing your own research. So all of what I'm doing right now could not have been possible if I did not pursue higher education. Um, that's one of the reasons. But again, the second reason is I do love to do research and teaching, and I think both of them, even if there was not such a requirement of having a doctoral degree, I would still want to, because that prepared me for both of these aspects of my job.
All right. So thank you so much for being here with us today and answering all these questions. And you gave us some amazing information and insights. So yeah, again, thank you so much.